Mr. Green. Voitot pankkitilillesi 5 minuutissa.
First of all, such an honor to talk with you. What have you been up to on this coronavirus outbreak yourself?
Just recording albums, cleaning my house, hanging out with my kids, just basically, just normal stuff, really.
Okay. So before going to the solo album, I must ask, as a Finn, of the last Slipknot show you played on the European tour, and you had that accident before the show. So was that one of the worst shows you have ever had to perform?
That was tough, dude. That case came down. Luckily, it didn't break any bones or anything, I think it just kind of it bruised the muscle in my foot. So I was able, after a couple of days, to kind of walk on it. But I had to ice it. I had to wrap it. I mean, it was brutal, dude. It really fucked me up. And I think it messed me up from the standpoint of it wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Someone had left a case, there was a case on rollers sitting right next to the steps, and there was an oxygen tank sitting on top of that case, and somebody hit the case, and that oxygen tank landed right on my foot, right when I got to the top of the stairs, and I mean crushed it, really fucked it up. So it freaked me out, man. But at the same time, I was like, intro's rolling. We can't. There's no, there's no getting out of it. You better get out there and just kind of do your thing.
Yeah, show must go on, like they say.
Show must go on, dude. And but that's kind of been my whole career. I would rather get out there and do as much as I can for the fans who paid to see that show, than back out of something and feel like I couldn't do. If they had put me in a wheelchair and wheeled me around, I would have done that show. Let's put it that way. There was no way I was not going to do that show.
So now let's talk a bit about the Corey motherfucking Taylor solo album that you are gonna release in October. So first of all, at what point did this solo album came into picture? Because I actually have some files on my computer of you, I guess at the age of 17 or something, doing an acoustic songs with a guitar, and then some cover songs as well. Right.
Well, I mean, this was something that, a solo album was something that I honestly hadn't even really thought about doing until, it kept coming up in interviews and stuff, it kept coming up in interviews, and fans kept asking me about it, so the more people kept asking me about it, the more I wondered. I was like, what would this sound like? If I did if I did a solo album, what would it sound like? And I realized that's when I kind of realized, man, I've got all of these songs that I've written over the years that don't fit with anything that I've ever done. They were just good songs, but certainly didn't sound like Slipknot, didn't fit with Stone Sour. And I was like, well, this is what it would sound like. And then I realized it's so different that in itself was enough for me to use those songs for a solo album. Because if I was going to do a solo album, it was going to sound different. It was going to sound different than anything that I'd ever done. And it would be more of a walk through my influences, really, than anything else, And once I really kind of wrapped my head around that, that's when I got excited about it. I was just like, this could be a whole new, experience for people who are a fan of me, and really kind of show them the music that I've loved over the years and that I've grown up with.
I was actually going to say that the album is quite all over the place, but in a good way. So was that kind of your goal, that you sort of wanted to give the listener a good expression what Corey Taylor is as a musician?
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, everybody knows that my musical tastes have always been all over the place. Like
Yeah.
I love music, and I love good music. And I think I've always said that every genre has good music in it. So when I hear something that I really dig, I'm really into it, And I think because of that, that has really influenced me over the years, and has really not only influenced my musical styles and the writing that I've done, but also the songwriting that I've done. And I felt like the only thing I really wanted to do on this album was put the best songs forward, because I've got enough material for, three or four solo albums. But I wanted this first album to really have that impact and really put the best songs on there, put the best foot forward, and really show something that I've never shown the audience before, So I don't know if it was on purpose that it was going to be so diverse, but it was definitely about capturing the spirit and really making sure that the energy was there and the excitement,
So was it clear like all the way that it isn't going to be just a man and a guitar album, but instead of you're gonna just have your friends with it and do it with them?
Yeah. I'd never even thought about doing an acoustic album, to be honest. Like it was always going to be like, if I was going to do a solo album, I wanted it to be a full experience. I wanted it to have all of the different elements. I wanted to do it with people who I knew would be able to pull off the music that I hear in my head and even improve on the music that I hear in my head. And I wanted it to be fun. I didn't want it to be depressing. I didn't want it to be a bum out. I wanted it to be a fucking party, like that's because that's something that maybe people haven't really heard from me before, If you're going to do a solo album, you better come with something that people haven't heard before.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
So obviously people expect certain kind of music from Slipknot, and people expect certain kind of music from Stone Sour. So how like relaxing it was to create this solo album, because now people basically cannot expect anything from it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
it was that was part of the fun, though, was really kind of delving into the different types of songs and the different types of vibes that I've been able to write over the years, and really kind of put something cool together and really fashion an album that feels very connected, very fluid, even with the so many different genres on here. Everything really flows really well together. The sequence really tells a great story, and it feels really natural. I think that lends itself to the fact that when people hear it, it won't feel as out of touch with what I've done. Because it will be such an easy listen. Let's put it that way. I think the only real pressure was recording it, and even then it wasn't a pressure because we did it all live in the studio.
Okay. So was it like sort of like a therapy session also for you? And did you actually learn something new about yourself while making this solo album?
I don't know if it was a therapy session. It was a blast, man. Like
Okay.
we had so much fun recording this album. And that's one of the reasons why I chose the people I did to be in the band, because these are guys I've known. Some of these guys I've known almost 20 years. We've all been friends. I knew how good they were, but I also knew that they would be as excited about the recording process as I would be. So every day was just another chance to laugh. Every day was just another chance to hang out with your bros and just have a good fucking time making music, And yeah, I mean, we didn't hold anything back. We were just so stoked and so excited about making a big fucking rock album that we just got into it, So in a way, it was complete 180 from an experience that I really haven't had since the first Slipknot album, man. It was so enjoyable and so positive it really kind of set the tone for me. I was like, you know what, this is the only way I want to make music from now on. It's like I don't want to waste my time with people who are fucking miserable anymore. I want to make music with people who are as stoked as I am about what we get to do for our lives, and that really pulled a great energy out of it.
Yeah, but I guess in Slipknot you have pretty strong musicians who all have their own opinions about the stuff you are writing.
Yeah, well, you'd think that would lend itself sometimes, but some people just can't get out of their own way when it comes to just being unhappy.
Okay.
It's like, fuck, man, what do you have to be unhappy about? Like we're living our dream. It's been over 20 years now, and we still get to do this. I don't get it. Like in a lot of ways, it shows me that certain people's choices in life can really dictate how they become in life.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas I still make music for the same reason that I wanted to make music when I was a kid, because I fucking love it, and it's just one of those cases where sometimes you grow apart, people just change, and you wake up one day and somebody you've known for 20 years, you have very little in common with, It's not to say that you don't still make good music together, but it's different,
So obviously you will be dropping a new song tomorrow from the album. Two actually. Yeah. Okay. So but that's actually the first time that I'm hearing you rapper ever sing Spit It Out, if I am correct.
Yeah, I've done some hip hop stuff over the years. Like I've done like I did some stuff with Tech9, I did some stuff with Kid Bookie. There's always been little hints of hip hop on Slipknot songs, on Stone Sour songs. Like Get Inside is a very kind of like Spitfire kind of rap vibe. To me, I've always incorporated that kind of vibe, even when it comes to some of the heavier stuff, like Heretic Anthem. It's an in your face hardcore vibe, but it still has that hip hop.
Yeah, sort of feel. Yeah, I understand what you're meaning.
So I use that to really write, even in that aggressive tone, But hip hop has been something that I've loved for years. This could be the first time that I've really stepped out and tried to shine something like this in something that I've done personally, And by doing it, I wanted to do it in an old school way, that kind of old school Rick Rubin, Run DMC vibe, but with a modern take, And that's one of the reasons why I had Bookie and Tech9 on it.
So are you actually nervous? How will the fans take this?
No, I mean, if they don't dig it, they don't dig it. But I think it's just so much fun and it's so big that people will dig it. You know what I'm saying? Like it just feels like
a good song.
Time.
It's a good song.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's at some point you kind of have to get out of your own way and be like, look, do we listen to music to enjoy ourselves, or do we enjoy ourselves because we're listening to music? And I feel like you can have one and the other, It doesn't have to be so fucking serious all the time,
So in the end, a bit about the future. So how do you see it yourself? What kind of actual plans do you have? Is it going to be like Slipknot whole next year and then solo thing, or solo in the middle and Slipknot and balancing, or how do you see it yourself?
Actually, we're going to do what we can with the rest of this year, solo-wise. Next year, hopefully once things get back to normal, knock on wood, I'll finish up the Slipknot tour cycle and wrap that up. And then after that, probably go in and record my second solo album and then go out and tour on 2 albums instead of just 1.